Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system for you to follow to start making $20,000 per month or so on YouTube. And the amazing thing with the system that I'm going to share with you is you do not need millions of views to actually make it work. You do not need to rely on something like Google AdSense to make money from it. You also do not need to wait years and years and years before you start making $20,000 per month. In fact, this is probably the fastest system to actually get you there. And also, you don't need to spend hours and hours of time each week filming content. And just to give you some perspective, my main channel's got 1.5 million subscribers. And last month, I made this amount of money from Google AdSense. So not very much considering I'm getting millions of views there. But I made $110,000 cash collected last month using this exact system here. So this system won't just stop at 20K, it will take you to 50, even to 100K months. And in my YouTube masterminds, where I teach business owners, entrepreneurs, experts, and people who just really want to leverage YouTube to get more leads for their business, when I teach this system to them, most of the time on the low end, they're making around 10K per month. And on the high end, they're doing around 20K per month with less than 1,000 subscribers. So that really is how powerful this system that I'm going to share with you today actually is. And yeah, this video is for people who already have a product or service to sell. You already got something to sell and you just want to use YouTube to get more eyeballs, to build your personal brand and to build your business even more. But you're just sitting there going like, damn, how do I do this? Because YouTube is complex. YouTube is tough, right? So this whole thing today is going to break all of it down. I promise you, I've taught this to so many people and it just gets really, really bloody good results. So yeah, I think we break it down. So the first thing I want to do is just clarify the big mistake that most business owners, entrepreneurs, experts all make when it comes to doing YouTube, right? And what they do is what I like to call the publish and pray method. So this is what it normally looks like. They want to do this YouTube thing. They've seen other people having loads of success with it. So they go, cool, I want to get on YouTube. So they start making YouTube videos. And then what they do is they publish the video and they pray that the video sort of takes off. And, you know, they upload the video, they refresh the page 100 times over the next week, and their YouTube studio shows that they've basically got no views on it. But because you're an entrepreneur, because you're a business owner and you just don't give up, you keep making videos. You keep doing this grind over and over again. And most of the time, you still get no results. And then because you've been doing this for so long and you've invested all this time, money, and energy into doing YouTube and you're getting no results, you end up just giving up. And occasionally, in some cases, you do get results in terms of you get a video that does get thousands of views. But the problem is you then don't get any sales from the video. The video doesn't lead anywhere. It's like, oh, cool, you've got some views, but it hasn't helped your business in any way. If that describes you, then the good news is the fix is really, really simple. And after this video, you're going to have so much clarity because I've got a 5-step system that, again, I follow, all of my students follow, and this system just works. All right, I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. This is the best system out there. So let's start by breaking it down now. So the first thing you need to understand is that if you want to do YouTube correctly and you want to build a YouTube channel that actually converts viewers into buyers, then you need to niche down to blow up. And blow up is in terms of sales, money, but also views and personal brand. So let me just give you some perspective here. The big problem is people, you know, you're a business owner, you come in, you go, okay, cool. I want to do YouTube. I'm in the productivity niche. I'm in the drop shipping niche. I'm in the marketing niche. I'm in the make money online niche. I'm in the fitness niche, whatever it is, right? What you do is you come in, you start making videos on these topics because you're an expert in that area and you just get nothing. Why is this? Well, the reason is when you start making videos on whatever your niche is about, you're competing against people who've been doing YouTube for like over 10 years. You're competing against people who have teams actually making some of the top quality content out there. So let's just say you're in the marketing niche. Well, you are directly competing against Alex Hormozi because watching YouTube content isn't free. People pay with their time. So what YouTube does is it determines, okay, if people are paying with their time, what is the best video to show people on YouTube? And are they going to choose Alex Hormozi's video or your video? If we really think about it, if we're really honest with ourselves, I think we both know the answer. If you're in the make money online niche, are they going to show your video or Iman Gatzi's video or productivity, Ali Abdal's video or your video, whatever niche it is? The chances of you just coming in and dominating that niche from day one is very, very slim. So that's the first thing you've got to understand. What we have to do is we've got to niche down in order to blow up. What does that actually mean? All right, it's just started raining, but we're going to keep doing this video regardless. And I want to give you an example of one of my students who is niching down really well in order to blow up. And he's currently doing between 10 and 20K per month on a very, very small channel that gets less than 1,000 views per video. And what he does is he teaches people how to get into Oxbridge or Cambridge University. And essentially, he could, if he wanted to, teach anyone how to get into any university. But the problem with that is he's going to be competing against all of the big channels out there that teach people how to get into university. So what he did was he niched down. He specifically chose 2 universities, which is Oxford and Cambridge, and he only helps people get into those 2 universities. Now, here's the thing. This means his target audience is smaller, but because he's so specific in who he's targeting, firstly, YouTube actually starts showing his videos to the right people a lot faster. Because his video is all about how to get into Oxford and Cambridge, YouTube instantly understands exactly who his target audience is, so it can show his videos to the right people very, very quickly. Secondly, because YouTube then shows it to the right people, these people relate to the video more, they comment, they like, they share, they really enjoy the video, and YouTube goes, oh, this group of people here, his target audience, really enjoy this content, we will show it to more of the same kind of people. This is just how the algorithm works. So actually, he then starts to blow up on YouTube a lot faster. But here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. Because he's niche, he can charge much higher prices for his products and services. Because let me just give you an example. If you were his ideal viewer who wanted to get into Oxford or Cambridge, right? Would you trust him, someone whose only channel is teaching you how to do the thing you want, or a more generic channel that teaches you how to get into university? Really think about that for a second. Well, of course, you would choose him because he's a specialist, not a generalist. And when you're a specialist, you can charge whatever price you want because people want you because you solve a very specific problem for them. So not only does he rank faster on YouTube, not only does he start growing a lot faster, he can then increase his prices as well and make a lot more money from his YouTube channel. So can you see here how niching down allows you to blow up a lot faster? Very, very quick example as well. Let's just say you're in the fitness niche. You can make generic videos on how to get a six-pack, how to do this, how to do that. You're competing against channels that have tens of millions of subscribers. You don't stand a chance to actually outrank them in YouTube search or browse, right? It's just going to take a long, long time. But if your ideal viewer was a man in his 30s who wants to lose weight before his wedding, and you make specific videos around that topic, you can charge really, really high prices for that because you're a specialist, not a generalist. And again, YouTube will know who you're targeting a lot faster because your videos are so specific. It starts showing it to the right people, and then you start to blow up a lot faster as well. And you get clients at the same time. This is the really funny thing. This is why if you make specific niche content that solves a huge problem for your ideal viewer, you can actually start getting, a lot of money from videos that only have 500 views, 1,000 views, because people reach out to you because they want to work with you. So always become a specialist and not a generalist when it comes to doing YouTube. And that's the first thing you need to understand. Unless you want to compete against Ali Abdaal or Alex Hormozi or Iman Gatsi, by all means go for it, but it's just going to take you a long, long time to start getting that traction. So lesson number 1 here is if you're a business owner, you have to niche down in order to blow up on YouTube in terms of views, subscribers, and money. Cool. So now you understand that. You're probably thinking, okay, nice, Oscar, I get it. How do we actually do it? So let's go to the 5 steps now and put in some proper strategy so you just kind of know what to do when it comes to growing on YouTube. So step number 1 is knowing who you're targeting on your channel. And this is kind of what we just talked about, but I want to explain now how to actually do it. So the big problem people have is they always skip this step. I find it so funny. People always skip this. They always worry about how to make a YouTube video. They go, oh, Oscar, how do I do a title? How do I do a thumbnail? How do I script my videos out? But here's the thing. You could make the best video in the world, but if that video gets 1 million views because your title and thumbnail are perfect, but it's seen by the wrong audience, let's just say you get 1 million views from children, well, they're never going to buy your products and services. So before you worry about how to make a video, you need to know exactly who you're making the video for. Does that make sense? Who are you making the videos for? And you've got to get crystal clear on this. So the language I like to use in terms of business language, I guess you could say, is your ICP. You need to know who your ideal customer profile is. And this is kind of split into two different things. Firstly, it's their demographics. And secondly, it's what do they need? They're the two things you need to know about your ideal customer profile before we continue to actually making videos and whatnot. So their demographics, this is their age, gender, and income. So if you don't know this, write it down on a piece of paper. And then what do they want to know? Or what do they need, right? What do they need to know? Same thing. Essentially, what you're trying to do here is really isolate their pains, their goals, and the frequently asked questions that they have. So based on everything I told you about niching down in the previous bit, what I want you to do is like take your dream client. Who's like the number one person you'd love to work with, right? So really, write this person down, write down exactly how you help them, their age, their income, their gender, and then also what do they need help with in terms of their goals? So what goals do they have? What problems do they have? And what frequently asked questions they have? And remember, we need to be specific here. Don't be like, oh, I help men get fitter. Get more specific. How old are these men? How much money do these men make? Where are they located in the world? What specific problems do they have? Is it they want to, get fitter because they want their wife to be attracted to them again? Really get that specific, right? And write all of these different things down. And once you know exactly who you're targeting, you can then fill out this statement here. And I call this your channel vision, which is I help ideal viewer transition from pain point to goal so they can have a certain outcome. Okay, so that's what your channel needs to really do. And this is like the overall thing for targeting. Who are you targeting and how do you help them? I help ideal viewer transition from pain point to goal so they can have a certain outcome. And here's the thing. Once we know this, all of our content is then informed by this research here. Because let's just say you were targeting men over 40 in the productivity niche, then cool, the kind of language you use in your videos, the scripting, the thumbnails, the titles, all of that stuff is designed to reach this ideal viewer. But people always skip this. They just go, oh, I'll make some videos on productivity. I'll make some videos on drop shipping. I'll make some videos. No, if you're making videos on drop shipping, who specifically are you targeting? Are you targeting beginners who've never made any money and they're trying to make their first $1,000 online with drop shipping? Or are you targeting experienced people who've got years and years experience doing drop shipping who want to scale from 50 to 100K a month? Get that specific on your YouTube channel. You need to know exactly who you're targeting. And then from there, the actual content becomes a lot easier. So you need to spend your time doing all this stuff. And actually, if you want my help doing it, click one of the links in the description, because part of my program, my coaching program, which is one-to-one, is I just do all this work with you. So we really sit down, deep dive into who your channel is actually for and who you're targeting. And from there, you can actually make content for the right kind of people, for the relevant kind of people, right? Not just for the most amount of reach. You always want relevance over reach, okay? We want to focus on the viewer and not just the number of views. And that's what this system here allows us to do. So that's kind of targeting. Just get really specific on who you're making videos for, write all this stuff down, and then from there, we can actually start going to the stage 2, which is ideation. So let's talk about ideation. And honestly, ideation is where at least 50% of your time should be spent in the YouTube creation process. Because if you get this part wrong, if you just come up with a really bad video idea, I don't care how good your editing is, how good your script is, how charismatic you are on camera, no one's going to click on it because it's just a bad video idea. So what we really want to do is we want to come up with an idea that doesn't just get loads of views for the sake of views, but an idea that really appeals to our ICP, our ideal customer profile, aka the people we just spent a bit of time really defining. Because if we can reach these people, then everything else just starts to work. So how do we come up with ideas that is relevant to our ICP? And there's two methods. There's spotting and sparking. Sparking is essentially when you're sitting down, let's say with a friend, and you just have a spark of inspiration. Maybe you're having a conversation about something. He says some words to you and you go, oh, that's a really interesting video idea that would appeal to my ICP. So you sort of jot it down and then you go and make a video on that thing. You might also, have a community of some sort and your community keeps asking you questions. Hey man, how do you do this? How do you do that? And you go, oh, that'd be a great video idea. So a spark of inspiration comes to you. And again, this is how most people do video ideation. And it can be really good so long as it's relevant to your ICP. But here's the thing. you're going to spend a lot of time, energy, effort, money making these YouTube videos. And the truth is, with sparking, there's no data to prove that any of these are actually good video ideas. You just think it's a good video idea, but you don't know that until you upload it and see if it vibes with your audience. So what if there was a way we could come up with video ideas that had data to back up the idea and imply that there's a really good chance that this idea is going to work? Well, there is, and it's called spotting. And essentially what you're doing with spotting is you're finding videos on channels either in your niche or adjacent niches, so niches that are very similar to yours, that have done really well. And then what you do is you take that video idea as a starting point and you just improve on it. So let me just give you an example. My main channel teaches magic tricks. So what I might do is I might go to the juggling niche, which is kind of similar to magic, but a little bit different. And I might find a video on there that's done really, really well in comparison to that channel's average. So let's say I find a juggling channel and it teaches 10 cool juggling tricks. And that video has 1 million views, and the average number of views on that channel is 100,000. Well, that's an extreme example. Let's just say it's got 10,000 views, but the channel averages 1,000 views, right? It means that that video with 10,000 views is a 10x outlier. And what we do is we look for outliers, and then we just adapt that video idea for your channel. So let's just say the video that did really well was called 10 years of juggling experience in 5 minutes. I could make a video called 10 years of magic experience in 5 minutes. So I'm taking the video idea as my starting point, and then I'm adapting it to my niche. And because that video is an outlier, because it's already proven to work in a different niche, that data kind of implies that it might also work really well in your niche. Now, there's no guarantee. Of course, you can't guarantee it, but because it's a proven video idea, the chances of it working is a lot higher than you just kind of sitting down and going, oh, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. So what you're doing is you're using data from adjacent niches. You're taking those, those videos that have done well. You're extracting the elements from it. Was it the title? Was it the thumbnail? What was the video about that made it do really well? You've got to analyze that, and then you apply it to your own niche. And that's where you start to make videos that have a much higher chance of getting views from the right kind of people. So I hope that starts to make sense. So I did this the other day. I'll pop something up on screen. It was, I think I'd seen in the magic niche, it was like 10 crazy bar tricks anyone can do, or 5 crazy bar tricks anyone can do. And I was like, well, I don't want to do bar tricks because my ideal viewer isn't going to bars. Rather, they want to become more confident and just learn some simple magic tricks. So I think I just changed it to like 5 easy card tricks anyone can do. And that video went and got hundreds of thousands of views because I just took a video idea that was proven to work, changed it around so it was more relevant for my ICP who are beginner magicians. So I removed the bar bit, just made it for like beginner magicians. And then because I was using a video idea that was already proven to work, the video did really well and got hundreds of thousands of views. So can you start to see how ideation works? They're the 2 methods that you should follow. Okay, so let's look at packaging. And packaging simply means your title and thumbnail. And the only job of your title and thumbnail is to make someone click. So if someone clicks on your video, it means you've successfully packaged the video well. And if people aren't clicking on your video, it means the packaging needs to be improved. So the question therefore becomes, well, how do you make someone click on your title and thumbnail? And the only reason someone will ever click on one of your videos is because that video builds curiosity. Because that video builds curiosity. And the more curiosity you build, the higher the chance that someone's actually going to click on the video. So actually the main goal of your packaging, the main goal of your title and thumbnail is to build as much curiosity as possible so that your ideal viewer just has to click on the video. That's really what you've got to be thinking about in your head. If your ideal viewer saw this title and thumbnail, well, they have no choice but to click on the video. That's the sort of guiding metric that we're thinking about. So how do we actually do this? Well, I'm going to start here. I'm going to start off with some different metrics, and then we'll talk about like a system to actually put your titles and thumbnails through so you know it's like a good thumbnail or a bad thumbnail. Generally speaking, you want your CTR, which stands for click-through rate. That's just the number of people actually clicking on your thumbnail and title, to be around 5.5%. So if of everyone who sees your video, if 5.5% of them or more click on it, that generally implies that it's a really good title and thumbnail. Now, there are some exceptions here. For example, if you're brand new to YouTube, then don't worry too much about this number because YouTube's going to be testing your videos on random audiences, so it'll probably be a lot lower. Also, if you get like a really, really viral video with lots of views, your click-through rate's always going to drop down because it's just been shown to more people. But generally speaking, for videos that have between 500 to, let's say, 30,000 views or so, 5.5% or higher is the sort of golden metric you want to aim for on your YouTube channel. Secondly, people need to know what your video is about without seeing the title. So if this is a thumbnail and this is the title, and I just covered up the title, your ideal viewer should have a very good gist of what the video is actually going to be about. So that's the second thing. If we covered this up, could they tell us what this video is about just from the thumbnail? And if so, it increases the chance that someone's going to click on the video. And then finally, we want the title to be 55 characters or less. If the title is over 55 characters, you get this weird ... And it means people don't even know what they're clicking on, which is the worst thing. So you want your title to be 55 characters or less. Cool. So given all that, how do we actually know if we've got a good title and thumbnail that actually works? And honestly, the best way to do this is just testing in practice. You upload a thumbnail, you reiterate, you do this again and again and again, and eventually you just get an eye for it. But there's a really nice system you can put your thumbnails and titles through that will just give you a bit more of an inkling if this is, a really good title and thumbnail, or if there's areas for improvement. And it's called the BENS system. So B stands for big claim, E stands for easy to do, N stands for new, and S stands for safe. And see these almost as like 4 checkboxes. And if your video, title and thumbnail this is, ticks off 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4 of these boxes, then it's a really good title or thumbnail. So let me just pop up some examples on the screen and I'll just talk you through them. So this first video here, for example, is one that I made and it's called The New Video Editing Style Taking Over YouTube, something along those lines. Is this a big claim? Well, yes, it's saying there's a new video editing style that's taking over YouTube. That's a huge claim. So we get 1 tick. Is this easy to do? Well, you can see on the thumbnail, there's like complex editing and easy editing. So yes, easy to do, big tick. Is this new? Well, it actually says in the title, the new editing style. So tick. And then is this safe? I wouldn't say it's unsafe, but it's got my face in it, my personal brand. So people probably think it is safe, but I'll give that like almost like a half tick. So this is like 3.5 out of 4. And that's one of the reasons why this video did so well, because the title and thumbnail are really good, right? It got like nearly 200,000 views, I think. Here's another video I made that follows the same system. So this is called Why YouTube Shorts Will Kill Your Channel. Now, is this a big claim? Well, of course it is, because everyone thinks YouTube Shorts are great. So massive claim, tick. Is this easy to do? I wouldn't say there's anything in this that means it's easy to do. So I'm going to say no to this one here. Is this new? Well, yes, this is new information. People, YouTube Shorts is very a trending topic, of course, but it's like new information. People don't realize it's going to kill their channel. So I'm going to say tick. And is this safe? Well, again, kind of like my personal brands there. So I'm going to say yes, it's safe because it's someone with authority explaining this information, right? So I'm going to again say that one there is 3 out of 4. So what I recommend you do is when you come up with your thumbnail and title, just put it through the BENS system. And that's really what's going to give you an inkling before you actually upload the video to whether or not it's a good thumbnail and title. So next up, we're going to move on to stage 4, which is value. Now, the one thing I want to be very clear with here is we're already on stage 4 out of 5, and we haven't even talked about money yet. And the reason for this is you're not going to be making any money from your YouTube channel if you get all of the foundations wrong. So the next step, number 5, is how to start making that money. And how to convert viewers into buyers, right? But if you get the targeting wrong, if you make videos for the wrong people, if you come up with rubbish video ideas, if you've got bad titles and thumbnails, and you also don't deliver value, I don't care who you are, you're not going to make any money on YouTube. So this is the thing. When people sort of go, oh, how do I make money on YouTube? How do I do this? How do I do this? The honest answer is you need to make really good videos that solve real problems for real people who you're trying to target. That's really it. That's what you're trying to do. And I'm just trying to walk you through these different stages now so you actually understand that the money is the last part. You don't start off with the money. You start off by making really bloody good content that reaches the right people, where people go, damn, this guy is so good. He speaks my language. He's really targeting myself. How do I work with him? How can I give him money? Right? That's where you've got to get to in order to start actually making 10, 20, 50, $100,000 a month on YouTube. If you get this other stuff wrong, you're going to be making $0 from YouTube, right? Not even 10K, right? It's like all or nothing, right? If you make amazing content for the right kind of people, you'll make a lot of money. And you don't need that many views either because it really speaks to the right person. But if you just make generic, boring content with average ideas, you're not really serious about it, or you are serious, but you just put your efforts into the wrong part, then honestly, you're not going to make much money from YouTube. And again, what I do, you can click the first link in the description to find out more about this, is me and my team, we do all of this heavy lifting for you. So we do all the research for you. We come up with exactly who you're targeting for your business. We then do your ideation for you. We do thumbnail concepts, titles, all of that stuff. We just give it to you on a plate. So you know that all of this initial stuff that we've just talked about is just done for you by a team of experts. And then it's just up to you to record the video, upload it, and start collecting the cash. So if you're interested in that, click the first link in the description and we can hop on a very quick call just to see if we're a good fit or not. Anyway, let's get to value. So this is really the meat of the video itself. This is when you're actually talking in the video. And what a lot of people do is they just turn on the camera, they choose a topic, they talk and they upload the video, and then they're gobsmacked about why the video's got 6 views and no comments and no one engages with it. And the reason is, on YouTube, you still have to pay the YouTube game. You could be the best in the world at what you do, but if you deliver the content if you deliver that content in just like a really boring, uninspiring way, or you deliver that content in a way that just doesn't reach your ICP, then the content's just going to fall flat. So what you need to do to be successful on YouTube is have structure to your videos. You need structure to your videos. Now, people often say, does that mean you need to script everything out word for word? It depends on the channel, right? So this video here right now is completely unscripted, but I've got structure. I've got 5 different points. For other people, you might be much better off if you do script out things word for word. And what I recommend you do is you do like 10 videos scripted, 10 videos unscripted, see which one you vibe with more, and then just choose that. Okay, so I'm not going to say scripting or unscripted is better. It's really dependent on you, your vibe, how you come across on camera, and your own unique individual situation. But when I say structure, I recommend you follow what I call the HIVE formula for your YouTube videos. And HIVE stands for hook, intro, value, end screen. Hook, intro, value, end screen. So the first thing you need to do in your video is hook people in. And the easiest way to do this is just repeat the title of the video. Don't worry about all this complex like questions and weird things you can do to hook people in with these weird effects. If someone has clicked on a video, right, the title and thumbnail set an expectation. So your title and thumbnail set an expectation in your viewer's head, and all your hook needs to do is meet that expectation. So if the video was about the best whiteboard markers in the world, you begin the video by going, hey guys, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the best whiteboard markers in the world. You just repeat the title. And what that means is the person who's clicked on the video does not feel clickbaited. As soon as you go off and talk about something else, or you do something fancy or one of these weird introductions, people just click off because it's not what they came for. You need to match the viewer's expectations instantly. And this is really easy to do. You just repeat the title. And also that's why it's so important you come up with the title before you start filming the video. The number of people I work with, and they like record an entire video, they'll choose a topic, they talk, they upload, and then they go, oh yeah, I should probably do a title and thumbnail. This doesn't work because the title and thumbnail will set how many views the video actually gets. The title and thumbnail needs to be specific for the ideal viewer, but also the title and thumbnail then inform your script going forward. Does that start to make sense? So your process is idea, title, thumbnail first, and then what you do is you film the content. So hook, you literally just repeat the title, and this should take you, no more than 10 seconds. Then intro, what are you trying to do here? What you're trying to do in your intro is give yourself credibility. Why are you the person to talk about this particular topic over all of the other YouTube channels out there probably talking about the same thing? What is it about you that's unique? So let's just say you've got a channel and it talks about drop shipping. And let's just say you've made $1 million drop shipping. You go like, hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to, make more money doing drop shipping. That would be like the hook. You introduce it, repeating the title. And by the way, my name's Oscar. I've made $10 million over the last 5 years doing drop shipping. And these are my 5 best tips. I know that's an extreme random example, but can you see how the introduction needs to give you credibility? That is why I started this video by mentioning I've got 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. If you're in a position where you don't have this big number, that's totally fine. What you can also do is just say how long you spent researching this particular video. So let's say I didn't have 1 million subscribers, but I wanted to teach you how to do this whole thing. I'd say hey guys, I do my hook. And I say, by the way, my name's Oscar. I've literally spent the last 5 days watching every Mr. Beast interview out there to really research all this stuff so that you know how to make as much money as possible on YouTube. Something like that. I've just made it off the top of my head. But can you see what I'm saying there? So you just need to give yourself credibility and a reason for people to watch you over someone else. So that's the next thing. The third part is value. And this is where you actually deliver value and solve problems. Now, what you want to do is get to this as soon as possible, because really the value is the reason why someone clicked on the video in the first place. So you have to give a hook and you have to give an introduction, but this should be no more than 30 seconds. Just realized I'm writing sideways, but this should be no more than 30 seconds. Okay? Because hook, intro, this is what the video is about. This is who I am. Cool. Now let's solve your problem. When you start spending 5 minutes being like, I've done this and I've done this and I've worked with this person, I made this much money, people just get bored and they click off, right? They don't actually care. They just want to know they're sort of in the right room and they're watching the right video. So hook, intro, then value. And what I recommend you do with your value is split the video into 3 to 5 points. That's just the best way to have structure in whatever you're doing. And it means you don't just go off on random tangents and talk about something that's not related to the video itself. So the point of the video as well is just to solve one problem for your viewer. Okay, just choose one problem that your ideal viewer has and really just make super, super valuable content that solves it. Now, a very common question I get is people say to me, Oscar, like, how much should I give away in the video? Should I give away everything I know, or should I hold some stuff back? And I always tell people, in your videos, when you're delivering the value of your points, you want to give away as much information as possible. You want to give away as much value as possible. And the reason for this is people, if you don't do it, someone else on YouTube will. And when your ideal client comes to watch your content and they want to work with you or someone else, they're going to choose the person who gives them the most upfront value. So if you want to start actually getting clients, and this is starting to move into the money-making side now, you've got to give so much value on YouTube away for free that people go, how is this free? And then how can I work with this person? As soon as you start holding information back, people will just go with the other person who's giving away everything for free because they're getting more value from that. Because the only reason someone's ever going to buy from you is because they trust you. Well, how do you make them trust you? You give away value. The more value you provide, the more they trust you. The more they trust you, the more they want to buy from you. Does that start to make sense? So that's what you need to do on YouTube. Now, people always go, but Oscar, surely if I give everything away for free, then how am I going to start charging? How am I going to start making money on the back end when I'm selling products or services? Here's the thing. People don't buy information, they buy implementation. Let me just say that again. People don't buy information, they buy implementation. Let's just say you're a fitness guy. People, you could go on YouTube right now and find like the perfect workout plan. You go on ChatGPT and it'll make an amazing workout plan for you in 5 minutes. So if that is the case, why do personal trainers still exist? Well, it's because people want the implementation of that information. They want to be coached on how to apply that information to their life. They want the accountability. They want someone to take it specifically to their scenario and show them what to do. That's called coaching. That's called implementation, right? So people pay for implementation, not information. We live in a world where there's so much information, all right? So people buy the implementation of the information, and that's what you're selling, which means you should just give away as much value as you can for free when delivering this part of it, the information, right? And then people go, wow, this guy's really good. I really trust him. I really like him. How do I work with him? And that's where you start making money. So can you see how this is starting to loop in? And then finally, for end screens, what you're trying to do is send people to another one of your videos. So at the end of the video, just basically say, hey, if you enjoyed this video, go and watch this other video here. And you link your current video to another video. And that just means people start binging your content. And from there, again, they trust you more and they're more likely to start to buy from you. So that's really how you deliver value in your YouTube videos. So once we've done that, we can finally get on to the money-making side of YouTube. So let's talk about making money, because this is really why you clicked on this video. And I want to now show you how you take everything we've just done and you convert it to a point where you're making $20,000 per month. And I want to break some limiting beliefs here about how easy this actually is if you do everything else I've just said sort of in a very sort of chronological way. So the number you need to remember is if you want to get one lead for your business, you need around 500 views. I've worked with a lot of people at this point, and around 500 views is normally the number you need to get one lead for your business. So one booked call, one person saying, hey, how can I work with you? Sometimes a bit more depending on niche, sometimes it's a little bit less, but that's roughly the number. Why is the number so low? Well, it's because if we go back to what we talked about at the very, very beginning, where we've got to target the right people, we build a really, really loyal audience. We're making specific videos for our ICP. It means that we're not making this generic content that's going to be seen by children and grandmas and all that stuff, unless you're targeting those people. It's going to be seen by the right kind of people. Let me just give you the example that I gave you at the very beginning. Imagine you're targeting 30-year-olds who basically want to lose weight before they get married. Imagine you had a room, 500 people who are all 30 plus, they all are about to get married and they want to lose weight, right? And imagine you were giving a speech about a particular topic to all of those people. Do you think one of those people at the end of the speech would come up and say, hey man, how can I work with you? Of course they would, if they were super, super targeted. And it's the same with YouTube. If you're getting 500 views per video, but these views are genuinely targeted, it's actually very, very easy to start getting leads. Now, if you're getting 500 views, 1,000 views, but you're getting no sales calls booked, there's a few things we can talk about, but often the problem is that your messaging and your targeting is just not good enough. And your videos are still too generic. You're still sort of creating content that doesn't speak to your ideal viewer. And that means you need to go back to the very, very start of this video where we talked about targeting the right people. What language they use, what pain points they have, what goals they have. And you need to make videos surrounding those topics. When you can start doing that, that's when you start getting 500 views and you get 1, 2, 3 leads from just a very small channel. And those people are willing to pay because they feel that the video is made specifically for them. Does that start to make sense? So that's really the numbers that we're aiming for. Now, people often do all of this stuff. Business owners, they get everything right, but they're still getting no booked calls. Why is this? It normally comes down to the call to actions. So essentially, in your videos, you need to tell people what the next step is, all right? So you don't just make a video and just pray that people reach out to you and say, hey man, how can I work with you? It does happen, but what you need to do is you need to remove as much friction as possible between your YouTube video and the next step. And the best way to do that is to have 2 call to actions in your videos. I recommend call to action number 1 is around 3 to 5 minutes into your video, so about here. And call to action number 2 is nearer the end of your video. Why is this? Well, a retention graph looks like this. And let's just say a video gets, I don't know, 10K views. So this video here gets 10,000 views. If you only put your call to action to work with you at the very, very end, let's say you put it here, well, normally like 20% of people are still watching at the end of the video. So actually only 2,000 people saw your call to action. However, if you put it much nearer the beginning, then actually, let's just say, I don't know, 70% of people are watching here. Well, then 70% of people saw that call to action, meaning around 7,000 people saw it. So from the same video, you get way more people, 70% versus 20%, 7,000 versus 2,000, so 5,000 more people seeing your call to action, which means they're more likely to actually make a decision and actually do something. The next thing you do is you do want 2 call to actions as well. The reason for this is there's a Stanford study that says when someone hears a call to action twice, they're 4 times more likely to do the thing. So you got your first call to action, you got a second call to action later on in the video. And when you do these 2 things, you're just going to make people feel like they need to take the next step a lot faster. All right. So that's how you actually start converting these viewers into potential buyers and into potential leads by being conscious over your call to actions. And the other thing you want to do is then in your description and pinned comment, you want a pinned comment that literally just says the next step they need to take. People don't do this for some reason, but it's very, very common that, you know, people are watching your video and they just scroll to the comments. So if they see a pinned comment with a next step, they're more likely to do that thing. And then in your description, remove all other links. If you've got 25 links to your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, your whatever, whatever it is, people often put in like their vlog channel or an affiliate link here or there. You give people decision fatigue because there's 25 things for them to click on. Why are they more likely to click on the one link that makes you money, which is probably to your product or service? Okay, so remove all links, have 1, maximum 2 links in your description, and put the link that will make you the most amount of money, aka to your webinar, to your email list, to your product or service. Put that at the very top of the description. And then when you do that, when you combine that with the 2 call to action system, you can convert viewers into buyers a lot faster. So really, guys, that's the process. That's how you basically build a YouTube channel that makes $20,000 per month, between 10 and 20K a month. Again, obviously you need something to sell in the first place to do that. It's outside the scope of this video to really break down how to sell things on YouTube. But that's the whole system. And if you can do that, you can basically target the right people, come up with really good video ideas for them, titles and thumbnails that really appeal to them, deliver actual value in your videos, and then have a really strong call to action section that actually makes them take the next step. That's how you build a business on YouTube. And that's how you build the right audience, not just a big audience. So finally, let's break down some actual numbers. We want to hit 20K a month. Let's just say you're selling something high ticket that's around $5,000, which is pretty standard for a high ticket program. Often people have, $10,000, $20,000 packages. We're just going to keep it conservative now with a 5K package. To make 20,000 per month, you need 4 sales per month. If we go by the metric that 500 views equals 1 lead, which honestly, if we're getting really, really specific and targeted, this is actually pretty conservative. A lot of the videos on this channel, for example, have like 1,000 views, 1,500 views, and they've booked me over 20 calls, right? So for this channel, I'm getting, 50 to 100 views per lead, but we'll be nice and conservative here. It means, let's just say your close rate is around 40% because you're the founder closing this. And also remember that leads from YouTube are very, very warm because people spend a long time consuming your content. Let's just say your close rate is around 40%, which is very realistic. You need around 1,000 views to make 1 sale on your business. And to make, if your product is 5K, it means you need around 5,000 views per month to start making 20K per month. But here's the thing you've got to remember. On YouTube, your videos are like assets that keep compounding. It's not like TikTok or Instagram where you upload a video and then you've got to make another one and another one and another one. Your videos you uploaded, years ago, I'll pop one on screen right now. They still keep getting views. Like this video you can see right here on my Magic channel. I uploaded this in 2019 and it still gets tens of thousands of views every month and brings in leads to this day. So what you need to make 20K per month, if you're making specific hyper-targeted videos for the right kind of people, is only 5,000 views per month. And the more videos you make, the more your videos all compound together just to get to the point where you're easily getting 5,000 views per month without even uploading new content. This is where it gets so bloody crazy with YouTube because I've gone for months without uploading content on YouTube and I still get leads all the time because the old content, if it's specific, if it's relevant, if it actually solves real problems for real people, it still gets views. So this is why getting to 20K per month on YouTube isn't hard. Obviously, this is assuming you've got a good offer and you've got the whole sales process down, which is outside of the scope of this video to talk about. 20K per month on YouTube is very, very feasible, but you just need the right systems and processes in place to get there. And as you can see, you don't need millions of views. And getting 500 views, 1,000 views per video isn't hard if you just create really good targeted videos for the right kind of people. And if you make them, specific for your ideal viewer, YouTube will show it to your ideal viewer faster. And that's how you start getting 500 views really quickly. So again, you've got a niche down to blow up. So I hope this has put everything in perspective. And for those of you, sitting down going, damn, I thought YouTube was impossible. I hope this has sort of maybe installed something inside you where you go, wow, like I can do this because you can. And, I teach people literally every single day how to do this. If you want my help teaching all of this stuff and also my team doing half the work for you, so you can just sit down, press record and just collect the cash for your business, then click a link in the description below and hop on a call with someone from my team and we can see if we're a good fit.